How's that? Sorry about that. Hopefully you will see this. No, you know, hey, Michael's here, Sharon's here. What? Thanks for asking. No, what that was, I had, okay, let's get technical. I use Restream, and you can put two levels of titling in there. You have the title of the show, so I have Plant-Based Futurism, Veganuary Wrap-Up. But then the other part, I forgot to change, and it still said that I had my guest from last week, Corinne Sutton, who was fantastic. But I don't want to, you know, mislead people or possibly piss him off. He's a big guy, right? That wouldn't go well. So we're just finishing up some sound experiments I was having here. So my worlds kind of overlap. This is where I do all this stuff. And just trying to find sounds right now. This isn't necessarily a piece of music. It's just trying to organize some tones. For the nerds out there, I'll shut this off, but I wanted to, let's present something for the nerds. This is, let's slow that down. So what we're listening to, and thanks for whoever said John Carpenter. I love John Carpenter. This is, I know it's not politically correct, but you know that's not me. But what you're hearing, just a little stupid sequence, and I'm doing some pulse wave modulation. This is the Behringer clone of the Moog 921 oscillator, the basic Moog oscillator that Keith Emerson, Wendy Carlos, and everyone. Pretty good, right? I mean, if I'm not pitching it, listen to that. Right? That's some Keith Emerson earth-shaking shit. Sawtooth. Okay, that's enough of that. Just a little overlap of my worlds there, but I know you're all music fans, so what's that, Tony? Facebook would not let you join? That's weird. Wow, I'm sorry. That's music fans, so okay. Well, here you are, Tony. It would not let you join via notifications. Interesting. Oh, like when you saw it and you tried to link. Wow. Oh, yeah. I stopped the stream and restarted it, so probably there was a little glitch. How's everyone doing? You know, it is the closing Monday of the Veganuary. And let me say again, whenever I do this and I'm looking over here, I'm not being rude. I've got YouTube over here, and this way I can grab any questions over there. And I also make sure that the feed is running on Twitter and all that. So how's everyone doing? You know, it's what a month, right? Can you believe the month is like, that's what's fucked up. Time, I tell you, man, because boy, you know, just less than a week left in this month. I'm telling you, right? It was just New Year's Eve. I just did my morning listen to U2 New Year's Day. I do that every year since it came out. So we're talking close to 40 years. Just a stupid little music ritual thing. But anyway, hope your month has been great. Hope, you're living your dreams. Let's see who's here. Hey, Kevin Ritchie, Michael Bernier again. It's down to me. I need to reach out to you. I'm doing a series with musicians, so I need a secretary, basically, because I'm scheduling 4 different things. Tony Walmsley, glad that you did find it. And John says it's only Monday. Yes, it is. Did I say the wrong day earlier? I don't know. Yes, he was a lucky man, Keith Emerson. And I'm a lucky man because I got to work with Keith Emerson. And, I weaved the music and the food together. And, that was, we had some great, Keith, loved Indian food and curries. So we really, there was a couple of amazing times. I'm just looking for a picture here. Amazing times just chilling with Keith and, having Indian food and see how I can work it in. And so we're having Indian food and all this vegetarian stuff. And English people in England are probably everywhere are some of the maybe outside of India that's the most Indian food consumed. And there's lots of Indian people in England, of course, both born there, been there for centuries, or recently arrived. But the Indian food in England, man, I'm telling you, wow, people do not snooze on that. I mean, it's well known. You've probably heard this, but the bar is so high. And maybe because Indian folks were going there such a long time ago and really developed this thing. But the funny thing in England, funny or not, if you've been there, you know this. In the smallest one-horse town in England, I'm serious. I've been to these little towns where it says, "Welcome to Fainsborough, Shortford," on both sides of the sign. It's that small. I've been to these towns and they have a pub, have to, and they may have a little convenience store and there's an Indian restaurant. Yeah, sometimes 2. I'm not making this up. You can go way, way, way in the countryside of England, and there's 2 Indian restaurants and nothing else. A fish and chip shop maybe, and that's exotic to them. Like the Indians restaurants, like normalcy. And then, but I bring this up just to say, as we talk about the closing day of Veganuary, had some great Indian food the other day, but just one of the cuisines that's so inspiring and such a pathway that any of you looking to get a little more meatless can get into that, because was there something still on? Because the Indian food, Indian cuisine, Indian culture is so friendly to the meatless thing. Not only eschewing beef, in a large part of the country for religious reasons, but pork in other regions, and they eat beef in parts of India, and I believe even pork, right, in the Portuguese colonized areas like Goa and stuff. But by and large, one of the greatest vegetarian cuisines. I mean, because of many reasons, but economics being a large one. Many other reasons. There's cultural reasons, there's religious reasons. They've developed just stunning, mind-blowing. So today I'm going to look a little bit at this wonderful series that my other half, Robin, watches all the time and gets recipes from this incredible woman that cooks for kids in India. So we're going to take a look at that, amongst other things. As usual, what did you have today? What was your meatless breakfast, lunch? What are you planning for dinner? Because, this is our closing Monday of Veganuary. And what's the big deal with Veganuary? It's just a month where they have this website and they have this extra push to kind of, see if people would try out a meatless idea a little bit more. Let's see. I'm looking for a fun picture to show y'all. So that's what Veganuary is. Just kind of a, give it the extra push. So this is, since someone brought him up, here is, let me get my focus here. Here's a fun picture of my dearly departed late boss, Keith Emerson. So that's the kind of sense of humor that this man had. He was wonderful. I mean, we laughed together every day. He really was. He was a silly man. A really silly man. There's when you work for some of these folks, shit is deadly serious, and it doesn't, you don't mess around with stuff. And Keith, though, you had to keep up. Like, you're trying to be serious. Keith Emerson would always be, just cracking up. And, Andre, hey, how are you, man? Hey, Keith, how are you? Look, I've got a few guests for tonight's show. Can you? Oh, yeah, Keith. I run over, and I get a piece of paper, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Keith. Guest list tonight? Yeah. A few of my friends. My dentist is coming down. Write it down. His name is Phil McCavity. Yeah, Phil McCavity. +1. Yeah. And and I'm writing it down. I'm trying to spell, and then I'm like, you. So that's the kind of thing. As serious as Keith Emerson is with the music, that was a daily thing with him. Just pranks, jokes, funny stuff. So, but lots of great food. We had some great curries, some spicy Indian curries, and that was my point of talking about England and the curries, and inviting you, if you've thought about, well, how, what are some ways I can get vegetarian food? Indian food. It's a nice pathway, very friendly pathway. Any Indian restaurant. Tony says the pandemic blues. I know. Mark Lorano, what's up, bro? Where are you these days? My friend Mark Lorano is traveling. I saw you were in West Virginia recently. Some beautiful pictures. Sometimes you're in eastern Scotland. Sometimes you're in Florida. Where are you now? Kurt Douglas Hampstead, what's up, my bro? I'm doing all right, It is beautiful food. My favorite dosa spot. Yes, those big dosas. And anyone live near New Jersey? Because if you do, and you go to like that Edison Metuchen area, you probably know this. But if you're new to New Jersey and you love Indian food, look it up. There's entire streets with nothing but Indian restaurants. Kevin, okay, great, man. Have a good, safe trip to the hair salon. Mark says he lives in the UK. Yes, don't get me wrong. I didn't mean to say that there's only Indian food. Not that you're implying I said that, but yeah, super comprehensive. I think the only food I couldn't find was because I always look for this, but Indonesian. But you find that in Netherlands a lot. But in England, Thai food and various stuff like that. Of course, all the things, Chinese, Italian, lots of Caribbean food, Jamaican food. And hot Popeyes, well, I'm only asking for meatless lunch or dinner. Just today, just this one day. So we're a meat-free zone. Let's see, leftover. Veggie taco. Okay. Yeah. Well, you got the tacos lined up today. Loads of spice and beans and rice. I love it. And I found some new spice, Scott. I know you're a spicy foods guy. Let's see. I got some pictures for y'all today of some stuff. I'm too lazy to load it up and do screen shares and stuff like that. Well, I didn't get a picture, but maybe I'll pull it up. There's this new stuff at Trader Joe. I just went to Trader Joe for the first time in a month or something, and it's only my third time for the whole pandemic that I've been there. Nothing against Trader Joe. I just I found this stuff. Wow, this is the bomb, man. So we'll start here. It's gonna be as you know, all of you that kindly come check out Monday with me. I often have guests. We had a wonderful guest last week. Wow, how inspiring. Corinne Sutton. How many of you were doing your push-ups every day? How many of you were looking at your carbs and kind of saying, all right, it's January. Let me not be a fool again in June going, yeah, I fucked up. Not going to the beach. I knew it. Thought I was going to start some shit in January, and I didn't. So how many of you said that after last week? Well, it's still January. Good news. But we had Corinne Sutton last week, and we had, a couple of great musician guests over the last couple of weeks, and we have some coming up as well. It was the week before that I had Debrisa McKinney and Neil Alexander talking about their favorite foods, creativity. And I've got quite a few musician guests coming up, but I'll do the show solo sometimes because that's a lot of fun, and we get a little more direct, quick response to questions and answers. So let me share this. Wow, this is so badass. Let's see. I'm not even gonna say, Scott, this is for you, bro, and for any of the spicy food fans here. You will be running to Trader Joe. Look at that. Oh man, this is so good. So it's literally just habanero peppers that they dry and keep crispy, and then they put them in an oven. That's fucking crazy though. $24.71. I'm looking at that price. Ignore that price, folks. What the hell is this? This is a mail order, huh? Okay, I don't know about that. How did they get it up to $24? Is this overseas or something? Yeah, that's weird. Look at that. A can of chickpeas, $14. What the hell is this? This must be like prison prices or... Look at that salsa. Oh, maybe it's... Okay, I see. 6-pack of salsa, $50. Still. Yeah, I don't know what this is, folks. It just came up on Google. Anyway, really good stuff. Look at the ingredients. Nothing but olive oil, habaneros, salt, garlic powder, lemon pepper, and that's it. Fantastic. And so it's this oily, crispy kind of condiment, and you just can, pull out a couple habaneros and add them to your whatever. I had it with a couple different things. I had it with some black bean dip and salsa, and actually had it with some peanuts. I made some spicy peanuts by just adding that. So there you go. Despite the ridiculous price, ignore that price. I don't know what the hell that is. That is like, some kind of mail order. Let's see. I shouldn't even put that link, but I will, just so you remember it. Mark, have you ever seen Project Object perform? Okay, I don't know if he has. Maybe. Mark is in the UK, I believe. So, He's only had sparse chances to do that. We did a tour though in I wouldn't call it a tour. We did like 3 shows in England in 2011, and we hope to come back. Boy, I'm going to touch base on that for a second. Well, let me come back to it. Let's see if there's any cool questions. You had one job. What did what did I screw up? If it come to the UK, yes. That's great that you love meat, but kind of boring today. I'm not being a prick, but it's a show about not eating meat. So, you know, but you know, that's fine, and I don't begrudge anyone's choices. But today we're celebrating. Hey, how about not eating animal flesh? How about not consuming animal muscle? Just one day a week. And I love people who eat all kinds of things, whether it's meats and fishes and reptiles, whatever. But the encouragement on this show is to go local, to go simple, to grow your own food, and to look at the environmental impact of the animal slaughter industry. That's kind of the 4 or 5 tenets of this show. Okay, so Tony says, Manchester's curry, right? Yeah, right, there's a curry mile there. I think it was Manchester. Where were we? I had the hottest curry still that I've had in my life. In my life. Where's my buddy John Turner? Because he was there and I almost died. And I was like, I'm going to die in England from a hot curry. And this is a guy who I eat habaneros, ghost peppers, scorpion peppers. I've got, I'm out of the first one, I think, but I have some dried scorpions and ghosts. I get them fresh. I eat all that stuff. And I'm telling you, these English curries. Michael Karopian, how are you, buddy? You had stuffed dolmades. I'm saying that wrong. Love that. Grape leaves, green peppers, onions, parsley, and tomatoes. Yeah, grape leaves. I love them. That's one of my favorites. I did the rare visit to a supermarket last night, and I forgot to get those. I always pick up a can or two because that's a great, right? Dolmas, just a great emergency food. Just a great kind of, you have them cold. You can, steam them, I guess. I think I've had them warm in a restaurant. But beautiful, and something I've had in Turkey and in Israel. So it's the cuisine in that area is just amongst my favorite, and so that's a good one, Michael. Let's spend a second on dolmas, celebrating Mediterranean food. Here are dolmas for those of you who have not had them. They're often called stuffed grape leaves. Look at that. How much more plant-based can you be than the leaves of a plant? And one of the philosophical things we talk about is killing and killing plants. And if you look at that, the lemon tree lives on, right? You've taken the lemon off, and the seeds are distributed either through your body or you compost a squeezed lemon or something like that. That's the biological imperative of a plant, of course, of any organism, to push its genes into the future. And so those fruits and things that are eaten by birds and other animals and distributed elsewhere, that's a win day for a plant, right? Because that's what a plant's trying to do. Preserve its DNA, and it's one of the things a plant's trying to do. I'm not going to pretend to know. Plants may be writing poetry. I don't know. But one of the things we do know they do biologically is that they have a biological imperative to reproduce and distribute seeds. So that's very interesting. You pull that lemon off the tree, the tree lives. Likewise, the leaves of the grapevine they get those, and the vines keep growing. So that's usually stuffed with rice, and then it veers off. Usually it's vegetarian. I would say, somewhere like 80% it's vegetarian. You do have grape leaves that they have lamb, and I think in a rare occasion I've seen beef, but I've seen lamb as the non-vegetarian option sometimes. And once in a blue moon I've seen feta cheese in there, but most of the time it's some kind of herbed, delicious rice. Oh, love it. And it's got a nice briny taste, very pleasant, and just a quick, convenient way to eat a little bit of healthy, a little bit of healthy rice and herbs and stuff. Good stuff. So that's just a recipe. Cool website, because they've got some nice recipes. There's a recipe for falafel. But dolmas, not going to get off the subject. Here is Susie. Hello, Susie. She's Port Said, Egypt. Okay. All right. So, wow. Yeah, some of my favorite food. I'm sure some of yours as well. But there we go. Dolmas. Nice one there. Very nice suggestion there by Michael Karopian. By the way, Michael, put your link here. I'm here to always network and support my friends that are artists and that are whatever. But Michael Karopian, folks, I've met him many times. He's seen my band. He does this he's got a website, but he does these series of Zappa. I just said Siri, and my phone came on. He has done a series of Zappa busts. He's an artist. He's a sculptor and does all kinds of different work. But he's also a Zappa fan, and where that overlaps, he does beautiful Zappa busts, and I'm very happy to own two of them, two different ones. So Michael, put your link here. There's a lot of Zappa fans here. So if you're a Zappa fan, you're looking for a gift, or you want to get a gift for a Zappa fan, talk to Michael. Put your link there, please, Michael. A hum in the audio? That's weird. I don't have anything. Oh, could it be that? I got so much shit hooked up. Let me know, folks, if there's an audio hum. Should not be, but tell me if there's a hum still. Sharon Lynn Baker, how are you? Yes, a great interview coming up. I'm going to talk about that. Has anyone checked on Donnie? Oh, boy. Okay, you pick your own grape leaves sometimes. Okay. Pasta with pesto. Can't go wrong. All right, let's see. Did the hum go away? Let's see. I see the hum was there 3 minutes ago, so sorry about that. Let's see. Pasta with pesto. That's another favorite. Another favorite has been, and we've talked about this, but you're not all here all the time. I appreciate when any of you stop by. Let me I got some chai going today. Good. But the gluten-free pastas have been spectacular lately. So we've been having pasta made from lentils, from black soybeans, from what was the other one? Black beans, I guess. Definitely black soybeans. Boy, you can make pasta out of almost anything that can be turned into a paste. So lentils and things like that work perfectly. Rice, there's some rice pasta. That's kind of old school. But yeah, I love it. Penne pasta with a nice vegan pesto. I'll make that with basil and parsley and use nuts instead of cheese, or some of this vegan cheese, the Violife Parmesan. Wow, that stuff is ridiculous. And I've brought it up before. Food is just chemistry. It's just texture, and someone's gonna say my food's not chemistry. You know, yes. No one's. I'm not devaluing food. Food is art. It's beauty. It's culture. It's history, but it's also chemistry. Things can be multiple layered, and um, it's there's that wonderful show, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. Right? Some of you have seen that. It's a show on Netflix, I think, and very, very carnivorous based. But she cooks quite a few little veg things, and but she emphasizes that you got to get that part of it right, the chemistry. Like, what does steaming do to different textures of food? What does adding some acid do? It does different things, right? You add vinegar, or even different types of vinegar. You add an acidity to grains, to beans, to steamed greens, to raw greens. You know, the idea of pickling and the acidity of vinegar in different concentrations. What does salt do, right? You can salt vegetables, and eggplant's one of the famous ones. You salt eggplant, and then you can rinse the salt off. But if you slice some eggplant up and put it in a salty environment, and then kind of rinse it off a little bit, it changes the eggplant drastically. So she gets into that, like acid, heat, fat, how fats act, olives, olive oil, nuts, seeds, various things with fat, different legumes and avocados and coconuts and stuff. So that's what's beautiful about attempting to make different things. You know, and we're talking about pesto right now, but to get that cheese umami is pretty easy, actually, with some fresh nuts and the right kind of spicing and stuff. Very inexpensive. That's right. Scott, not a Dolmas fan. Okay, yeah, love them. They're just everywhere. That's the other good thing. Can always find them on the road. And the stuffed cabbage, yes, I love that as well. Bassam has spread his seed farm-wide. Okay. Let's start rounding people up then. I'm all for rounding people up if it's your spawn. That's great. Hey, Kevin Feely, what's up? Thank you, Michael. There we go. So there's Michael's link, folks. And you're doing Sachem Daniel Nimhan. So right away, I ask, because I always get triggered by the phrase Native American. What tribe is this person? Because that's what I want to learn. Because I'm kind of a pedantic prick. They weren't Americans, right? America was after, and they were here. But some folks call themselves Native Americans. But a large number of them, I try to listen to what they're saying. And I live just right near Cherokee, right here in North Carolina. But and a lot of them say, yeah, we'd prefer to be known as Cree or Iroquois, or and I'm not like mad at you. I'm just saying, hook me up. Tell me what tribe this person is. But I'll look that name up, and that sounds awesome that you're celebrating the history and highlighting some history that gets left out. Oh, awesome. There you go. There's the Zappa Memorial. Dynamo Hum. Michael, did you do the sculpture that's in Bat Doberan? I forget. You did that, right? Artichoke. Yeah, if you get the link, please put that up. The artichoke pesto. Yeah, absolutely. The improvements, because gluten-free stuff 10, 15 years ago was like, ugh. It would fall apart. It had a tiny, tiny window. Like if you let that stay in the water just 15 seconds too long, see ya. But no, it's not only superb now. What's great about gluten-free food and dairy-free food is it's now driven by a lot of moms, frankly. A lot of moms paying attention to their kids, and seeing that they're allergic to dairy, they're allergic to wheat, they're gluten intolerant, that they have digestive issues, that as soon as you take the milk and the wheat out of their diet, they clean up. And I know some people that eyes roll at that, and I've got friends who refuse. I've got friends with various digestive issues and skin issues and irritable bowel issues, a couple different things, and have had many over the years, and they don't want to hear it. That's not, it's just not on the table to take that stuff out, So, what are you going to do? But yeah, if you just take 10 days off of dairy or 10 days off of wheat, you'll be surprised. I've hundreds of people I've seen try that. So not a double-blind study, but anecdotal, very strong information there. Yeah, super creative chef. There's a veg chili recipe. Thank you. That's a nice one. And some, let's see, some bulgur to give it that little kind of heft. Thanks. That's a great recipe. Thank you. Rounding people up, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, Bassam Habal. He's here. Okay, the Wappinger people. That's like Wappinger Falls, right? Awesome. Okay, someone else did the Zappa one. Yeah. Okay, see, I'm so happy because now I learned a bunch. The Mohicans and the Wappinger. Okay. Yeah. Nimham was the Stockbridge. Okay, great. Daniel sent his time. Stolen lands used in the French-Indian War and died many of these people for the American cause. Yeah. Okay. That's great to learn. I'm trying to learn. There's just hundreds of tribes, right? Wow, and the someone's got a recipe there for bruschetta artichoke. Okay, so there's a couple products I want to make sure I hip to people to, and also talk about lunch. I always talk about what did I have, as boring as that is, but that's what the show's about. Look at this amazing, again, I've got the best chef, but this was lunch today. Really good. Look at that salad. Oh man, there's some potatoes in there. There's kale, lettuce, romaine lettuce, a habanero, which was weak, actually, pretty weak. Don't be scared by it. It wasn't hot till I got to the seeds. Some sesame seeds and a nice za'atar dressing. Are you all familiar with za'atar? If you're not familiar with za'atar, let me tell you, take your food up a notch. But this is a wonderful salad there, just greens and red onions and all kinds of stuff. So that's like a typical. I love a big salad. That's always just win-win for me. Here's a pretty simple kind of a meal that we had the other day. Very simple, just some wild and brown rice, some wonderfully marinated tofu, and a habanero. Notice the theme, right? The hot pepper hanging out on the side. And I don't know why my reflection is so bad today, but there you go. That's a good shot. Tofu. Tofu that's been pressed has a special thing to it too. If you don't know about that, try it out. What does that mean? That means just taking your block of tofu and just putting it in between like two plates and putting like something heavy on it, like a, whatever you can find that's heavy, and that pressing down, that pressure on the tofu, it just does something. It squeezes some of the moisture out of it. It just kind of changes it when you slice it up and use it. So that's kind of an idea. We keep it really simple, folks. You know, I always bring that up. You know, really simple and plant-based and made from scratch. Here's another quick meal. These are just quick ideas. That's just tempeh that's been just lightly marinated and sauteed quickly. It might have been baked, actually. We're trying to bake more. A bed of sauerkraut. Yeah, this was baked tempeh. A bed of sauerkraut and some cherry tomatoes that are baked. That came from far away, I'm sure, California. But we use either local tempeh or the Light Life. But local sauerkraut. And then just a quick meal. Tons of protein. Oh my God, there's so much protein in tempeh. Look at that meal, folks. That's a gluten-free, low carb, super low carb. This is like keto and Atkins and all that. Those things you hear about that people think has to be bacon wrapped around duck breasts. No, you can get tons of protein and low carbs in a vegan diet. That's one quick example. If you're looking to go a little low carb and you like things like sauerkraut, wow, or just greens, sauteed greens, marinated greens, a bed of greens and some protein, you're done. And again, tempeh is so simple. Just chop it up and bake it, marinate it. Get a little olive oil and tahini on there, or tamari, or an oil and vinegar mix. It takes to anything, put some curry on there. Okay, here's one more. And again, the theme is just kind of vegan ideas in January. The other theme is just lower carbs. We're trying to just, go simpler. And that's almost like a full English, but adjusted a little bit. So you've got that omelet-looking stuff is just egg, which you've heard about on this show many times. Just egg isn't mind-blowing. It's I give it Gold Star Product of the Year because you can do these wonderful egg-type dishes, but it's mung bean protein. Delicious. Blindfold test. You can fool people that it's an omelet or a frittata. Very simple meal there. Look at that. Nothing there took more than a few minutes. The just egg, some wilted chard, some steamed chard, a nice cold salad there of cukes, onions, cherry tomatoes, and some raw garlic. And then some mushrooms, just quickly sauteed mushrooms. Dirt cheap, too. I'm a big fan of pointing out that this lifestyle does not have to be expensive. The just egg is probably the most expensive stuff, but I got a bunch of it on sale the other day for $3.99. But sometimes that stuff's, it's like $5 and change. But really wonderful. But keeping it cheap is a continual theme that I, want to inspire people about. Let's see. So getting back to so Michael tribute. Okay, great. So keep us posted on that, Michael. That's wonderful, man. You always do a lot of great public art, and I've been honored to know you because you're always doing something that gives back. Robert Bruce is here. What's up, buddy? Hey, man, let's get some video from our old store where the comic book guys are now. I did not get any mail from you. So yeah, let me look again. Would it have said your name, return address? I didn't get it. So yeah, I'll check. Yeah, pressing tofu. I did not try tempeh with maple syrup. However, we always saute in olive oil, and we always use sriracha. So the only thing missing is the maple syrup. But it sounds great. It sounds like I would like that. That's like a sweet and sour kind of a thing. And have not tried that yet. So, okay, great. So let's go to a couple cool products that I found. And keep in mind, I'm always urging you to make your own food. Keep it local. And, But I just think it's interesting, the trend. Check this out. This is, well, I can just, let's see if this is visible if I just hold it up rather than share it. It's always interesting, these mainstream companies. Almost every week now, we've had a new one. That tells you something, right, folks? Been doing this show for a few months now, and just about every week, I bring up another company that's looking around going, hey, let's get some meatless choices. Let's get some vegan choices. And let's see. I still seem to have a hum happening, huh? So this is a company called California Pizza Kitchen, right? That's pretty big, right? I think I've eaten at California Pizza in California. I think it's the same company. But check this out. They've got... Now these are cheese pizzas, but high quality, artisanal cheese. And I read close up, and it was, yeah, some pretty good quality cheese. You know, I think it's, they claim no hormones added or rennet free or something. But they're trying. But look at the big, bold letters. A cauliflower crust. What the hell? Again, mainstream company, huge company, nationally distributed company, just jumping into these, what would have been totally weird just a couple years ago, even in a natural food store. So I love that kind of stuff is happening. Let's see. All right, I think I finally got rid of the hum, folks. It was, my Moog was still on. Did I get rid of it? So sorry. I can never hear it. Oh, there was maple syrup in that dressing. Okay. My chef, my love of my life, other half, best cook, has stated that I screwed up and missed the maple syrup. No, well, that was very savory. So, man, all right, let's diagnose this. What the hell is this hum coming from? That's off. That's off. That's off. But it's there. The looper's not going. Let me just unplug shit. I bet, the motherfucker. Let's see. Okay, we're unplugged. Did that do it? No, but see, Todd, that's the funny part. This Zoom mixer is incredible. Of course, I mute channels. That's the first thing I would do. But, the way they designed it, the USB send is pre-fader, like pre everything on the channel, like pre the fader and pre the mute. So yeah, it's the one thing that I bum out about this mixer. But all right, so that didn't do it. How about, does that do it? Still there. Okay, how about now? Almost everything unplugged. This is great. Thank you, Todd Reynolds, for doing the my sound check with me. I've got just about everything unplugged. And all right, let's unplug these suckers. How about now? Yes. Yes, as in still there, or yes, I got rid of it. This is fun. Oh, good. So I got rid of the hum. Okay. Although I pulled out like 3 things in a row. I think I have an idea. But sorry, folks, who think this is all gibberish. But those of you who are technical people or sound people, let me say what an incredible thing in my life. I don't buy much gear. I really, it takes years, and I get a lot of shit from tours and stuff. But I have, in fact, all this shit around here goes back years and years. But I got a couple things in the last couple of years, and I got a mixing desk to do all this because I'm doing a lot more of this, interviews and this show and some other stuff. Incredible mixing board, the Zoom L12. It's really great. 12 channels. It's a USB interface, which is really what's awesome. But that's the one area they've done something. They just made a choice, and I don't like the choice, which is even if everything's zeroed out, if it's plugged in, it goes to the computer, and I can't hear it. It's not in the mix, right? What a stupid. So that's like the one weird stoner design they put in there. It makes sense on one level because now it's just a completely transparent interface, and in a studio setting or whatever, the engineer's getting everything no matter what. I get that. But for this, it's annoying. So I just unplugged everything. So that'll be fun later. But really a wonderful board. And musicians, if you're looking for very affordable stuff, look at the Zoom L8, 8 channels, L12, and L20. Those are the channel numbers. And what I find, I've had many boards over the years. What I find really great about it, too, is pop in an SD card, and it's a multi-track recorder. It's just a big tape deck. So it's kind of like you have like a 70s tape machine attached to a mixing desk. And it really is like that because you can lay down a bass line, lay down a drum beat, lay down some vocals, guitar, violin, flute, hand claps. Just go right down the line and mix it. So sometimes that's cool to not be in front of the screen when I'm just sketching out an idea. Anyway, that's my commercial for the Zoom L12. Per channel muting, panning, a little suite of basic effects. So anyway, there we go. My little technical moment. Thanks guys. 212. Okay, great. So we just talked about California Pizza Kitchen. That's awesome. I wanted to share also this really cool, well, a couple cool things today. I've been piling up like, hey, there's some cool stuff. And of course, anyone has some ideas, let me know. So I'll try to find that. And let's see if, what did you have for lunch? Any of you? Always nice to find out. Just finding some links here. So the Dolmas, let me get rid of that. We saw that. We saw the habaneros. Okay, so I have these cool things that I got. What are they called? And I give the disclaimer every time. I know, it's frozen food. But my point is that something's happening around us. And I just got to give this disclaimer every time because you just have people who write you and say, there's plastic inside that. I know. I hate it, but it's here. And if you just do it once in a while, it's part of our consumer society. The larger picture is to just overall eat lower on the food chain, grow your own food, eat locally, take your own packaging to the supermarket. If you did all those things, then yeah, you buy some packaged food once in a while. What the fuck? But again, this is more about just that something's happening. Something's happening. A little Peter Frampton. Okay, so this is another company, big company. I see their stuff all the time. Holy shit. I can't believe American Flatbread has done a vegan pie. What's great about this stuff too is these are, companies that can't mess around. Like they do so much taste testing and sampling that they really don't go to market until They see that something's really great. So it's really cool, and it just encourages us all to try a few different things. Here's one more. Again, it's a milk pie, but it's meatless and almond flour. Again, that's unthinkable just a few years ago, right? And still, if you went to some pizzerias in New York, you'd get handed your ass if you said, "Hey, is there a wheat-free crust?" Can't get bigger than Newman's. Look at that. Newman's. And that feels good too, as always, when you buy Newman's stuff because 100% profits to charity. Wonderful. I met Nell Newman back when I was in natural foods retail. Met her a few times at the trade shows, and really cool. She's really cool, and never met Paul. And it's just great that they just have this mission for um, raising money and doing positive kind of social work and you know compassionate help for those in need with their money. That's what's cool too. Like when rich people just snap their fingers like that and just say, "I'm going to take some of my money, just put it into a business that's self-sustaining eventually," and and kind of live their passion because the Newmans are into natural foods. This is 30 years ago. I met um, Nell Newman and 25, 30 years ago, and she's very into, as Paul was, just a natural lifestyle and eating better and um, all those things. But really great story when someone actually takes their riches and translates it into um, something positive. So I haven't had all their stuff. I think I've tried like oh they're fig Newmans. Those are really good. You ever have those? That's like a fig Newton but more natural ingredients, and there's a gluten-free one. So that's really good. Any YouTube questions? I was late to check that out. Okay, no one's asked a question on there. Great. Um, okay. And so Michael, you had stuffed peppers. Nice. Stuffed peppers. I haven't had that in ages. And veggie chili. So many great ways to make stuffed peppers these days. I do not know Penzies. I think I've seen that name, but don't know them. And they're a progressive spice company. Oh, that's great. Okay, that's great. Rich Gregory, not gonna judge, man. It's not a judging zone. Other than don't tell me the meat you had today. That's my only. Not many rules here, but that's it. That's the one. Don't want to hear it. But a Bavarian cream donut, yeah, great. That's that sounds good. I'm sure it was some kind of like right from the bakery or something, right? You go to some good places. Breakfast: old-fashioned oats, chia seeds, pumpkin pie. Okay, wow, that's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, that you know, Newman's have not. Yes, they do. Yeah, of course, Newman's has a few veggie pizzas. Um, Todd says can't keep them in the house. They're too good, huh? The ginger O's. Yeah, that's the thing. I just keep stuff out of the house. Uh, that bologna was delicious. LOL. Yeah, right, right. I know. Someone's always explaining that. Although, if they had some of that light life bologna or something, then yeah. Um, let's see. Still working on my lighting, by the way. Let's see. Oh, this is probably this one. Yeah. I gotta. How's that? I gotta rearrange everything here. See, this show is like about the food, so I don't really. Who cares how I look? But how's that? That's a little bit better. We don't have the beam of light. There's the beam of light right there. It's a laser. Um, that's better. That's better. My lighting director just informed me Um, okay, so a lot of people have reactions to chemicals. Yes, the chemicals on wheat. What's that one particular one? There's one chemical, glycophates, glyphosates. I forget. Um, Read an article about that, and there's a thing about how they don't use that on on wheat in Europe and in other countries, but we use it. We in the States, glyphosate. I've read about that, and some people say that's what it is. Here's an article for just last year, less than a year ago. Increasingly, glyphosate is sprayed just before harvest on wheat, barley, oats, and beans that are not genetically engineered. Glyphosate kills the crop, drying it out so it can be harvested sooner than if the plant were allowed to die naturally. Horrible. I hate that idea. Fuck that shit. Obviously, that's not in the organic stuff, but yeah, man, I don't know. Maybe that's what I react to because wheat just yeah. Roundup. There you go. Glyphosate. Yeah, glyphosate. Hey, Laura. Yes, Todd. Right, right. The bologna was great. Um, yeah, there's let's hope that we have some more. Uh, I mean, the environmental laws. We just keep going down the rabbit hole. Both sides, unfortunately, take that money. So, you know, uh, but uh, yeah, wardrobe and makeup doesn't. Like I said, it's about the it's about the information. No one did my hair. It's Robin is telling the truth there. We can't keep things like ginger snaps. I don't think I had one, my love. I think maybe one. Wasn't a big My Dell guy. Um, so now there's a question a little further back. Out of as you said, yes, this is quite off topic, but we do that here. Sharon Lynn Baker saying, "What's my favorite black-owned record store?" Who knows? One that I shopped in Brooklyn 40 years ago. Um, yeah, don't. I'm not a record store guy. I'm past physical media. I have over 12,000 CDs in this house, thousands of cassettes, and I've been reducing my thousands of vinyl. I just sold about 1,000 of them with great joy in November or October, and can't wait to sell or give away the rest. So I don't go to record stores except to sell my shit. But yeah, you tell me. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm totally a different topic for some other time, but I have a lot of physical products, so it's if the internet went away right this minute, my show would be over, and I'd be like, okay, I've got like 2 or 3 iPods, generations old ones. I've got cassettes. I could rest of my life just listen to the cassettes from the '80s that I have, and um, but I listen to new music all the time. We were listening to a new artist. Robin turned us on to a new artist called uh, Jesus Choker, right? Is that his name? Choker, and really great. This kid is you know just great. It was kind of neo soul and hip hop and just pop and experimental and kind of um, just everything, man. It sounded like Kronbin a little bit. You know that band Kronbin? It really was all over the place, and we listened for a couple hours. Really great. You know, so I was listening to new music. So I'm trying to find this PETA commercial that I just saw that I'd like to share. Yeah, I'll find it and I'll just play it for you. But really, very cool. Sometimes PETA, of course, goes off the rails. But uh, uh, slaughtering animals is going off the rails. You know, uh, sometimes we're so apologetic about this, yet, you know, when you stop and think about how fucked up those factories are. So, someone pointed out a movie to me called Endgame. Has anyone seen that movie? Because wow, it looks really sick. Um, it's about more about the environmental side of where we're headed, um, and how we need to really make some major stops on what we're doing um, to the Amazon, and what we're doing even within our country, the Dust Bowl stuff, and the hog farms, the water. I just think we just keep pushing it aside, and saying, well, they'll figure it out, and it doesn't look like they're figuring it out. Um, it's I'm behind on some of these movies. I know there's a number of them, but this Endgame one was recommended to me, and I'm wondering if anyone's seen it. Moby is part of it, and with a lot of scientists and environmentalists, and it just apparently it's a real wake up call film. So I'm gonna try to watch it later on. I'll put the let's put the trailer in the chat, and
When
it's hosted by Moby, who, as you know, is quite the activist. And there we go. Endgame. Um, I know, folks. You have a choice sometimes. You could really just watch all this dark shit and be really depressed about it. It's pretty easy to do. Um, or just at some point, I just say, well, here we are. I'll do all I can to push this shit back, and if it doesn't work out, then it didn't work out. But you know, the the span of time we have is so short that you know it's very hard to believe me. I got to convince myself what I'm saying to you right now, all the time. The time we're here is so short. It's so fucked up how the human brain can because of our mortality, just get us into a negative loop of which becomes depression. We start just we can't handle it. So how to handle all this shit that we're facing, the climate change, the global warming. Um, how about little Miss Thunberg? Hopefully she has an audience a little bit more with this president, with this go around. But there's the end game. I put that up there. Um, okay, so maybe we'll all see that. Um, okay, so I said we would talk a little bit about this really awesome um, this awesome woman who is doing this cooking on this amazing scale. So I wanted to share that a little bit with y'all and put some links again. But she's so inspiring. Let's do this. Um, let's click over to her right now. So this is Indian grandma cooking. You just type that in, and you get this cool stuff. Here she is doing a something called onion rice. It's pretty awesome. Quick video. Look at the scale. And look at, wow. Good white noise sound, lady. What time's your show? Filter that. Little oil. Look at the size of that pot.
Jeera,
which is cumin. Not playing. Damn. What else do you need but some sauteed onions? You know what that street smells like?
लून मिर्च हल्दी टमाटर
Oh man. Bring to a boil, I guess. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's so simple and looks so delicious. Right, Todd? The scale, right, bro? I mean, it's like, oh, there's like a yin yang she just had there. Jeez. That's interesting. Why is that? They just, okay, so they let it kind of just soak up. Oh, that looks delicious. Nice, spicy, simple rice. Now, oh, here's the best part, folks. Somebody just woke up. Oh, boy. So cool, right? that how inspiring is that, right? I mean, wow, touching and also sobering, right? That we we mention that little girl a lot around here. We try to really we never throw anything away, like food. Um, we make sure we use everything, and we kind of we're just try to be conscious and you do what you can. You live in the Western world. There's going to be you know stupid things that you are part of. But we always say, we just whenever we're making a decision, do we really need that? Do we really need this? We say, that little girl in India, that little boy in India. So that's wow, what a touching. So many things in that video. The wonderful food, how simple vegetarian food really is. So simple, and you get all your nutrients in the various types of foods. Um, but also what a story of just compassion that woman and check her out. I'll put her link in there. She has I, I want to say hundreds, but certainly scores of recipes. We watch her all the time. She just does these incredible. Um, I'll take a we'll take a quick glance at some other stuff just to look at the color and the beauty. But before I do that, um, the message there of let's be cognizant that we live at the top of the pyramid in this United States. If you live here, obviously, I know there's a few of you people sometimes here from England and overseas, but our little 4%, 4 out of 100 humans are in the United States. 4 out of 100 humans, um, and yet we consume well over half of a lot of the various things that you can list, whether it's oil or wheat or water or you know uh, various other energy sources and you know animal flesh and there's all these things that we consume a mind-blowing amount that's far above our percentage. It's kind of the flip side to we have something like nearly a quarter of the infections and deaths in this pandemic. So, you know, I, who am I? Just tiny little me. I'm an ant. But if I can inspire a couple people to radiate out there, talk to your friends, talk to your family, let's just start this energy going that we got to do better. We got to do it with less. We got to do it. I mean, look at those kids in India. That's their only way to get a meal. And how wonderful that it's there and they show up. And my dad, rest in peace, spent a lot of time his last few years. He lived in India for 8 years, and he was involved in something called mustard seed, which is something that looks like what we just saw. It's a place where they get kids, they cook food for them, they teach them basic, English and math and stuff and basic lessons. But often they're kids that are on the spectrum or microencephalic. I don't know the right word, but it's where your head is, you know, a deformation, a birth uh, deformed at birth, and often cast aside. And so mustard seed would get all these kids with physical, you know, ailments and help them. And so let's just keep remembering that a lot of people don't have what we have, and we fucking throw a lot away. You've all heard this story. You've heard about how much food is thrown away in New York per night. You could. We've all seen those kind of articles, and we kind of scroll left. We just go, yeah, But you can do a little bit, and it's what my message is every week. Just think about it. Just think, you know, I'm going to the store. I should take a few plastic bags, take my own shopping bags. If I'm going to buy some lettuce or some uh, you know, some things, peppers or something. I've got a bag. I've got, so like these little things. I get those bags and I prepare them and I throw them in the car. That's one thing we can all do. I still see stores with plastic bags. They're being banned in a lot of places, but every little thing we can do speaks to what you just saw. Like, because there's these children and people with so far less, and we are 4% of the population of the earth. So yeah, she is fantastic. Indian grandma, it's called My Granny. I'll just pull one more up just to encourage you how beautiful the colors are and what she does. But look at this one. They got the the pipe goes right into the pot here. They're not messing around. Look at that. So, this is just the washing area, actually, right? Yeah. Yeah. I hope so, right? You wanna cook those carrots just yet? Yeah. No, I've seen this. They do a beautiful sorting and cleaning. Nice plant-based colander. Oh, look at that squash. Look at the colors, folks. And you read these articles about color, right? And how things that are purple have certain nutrients, right? That's the thing, folks. A lot of what I'm talking about, I'm just trying to inspire people. I'm trying to remind you. But you've read these articles. You've read these New York Times articles that say that we should have a rainbow diet, right? Because the color red, so cranberries, tomatoes, you think about lycopene and, some of these antioxidants and tocopherol, vitamin E that's in certain things. And then there's green things, which tend to have other stuff, chlorophyll and vitamin K and everything. And then you have orange things like carrots, right? Where you're going to get beta carotene. And you've got blueberries that have things that other things don't have. So we start to learn that stuff that looks different on the light spectrum has different properties. I've seen 10 articles, like it's some big fucking discovery, that we should eat a variety of these plant-based foods. I don't know how many times we need to read it, but I love that here's these folks putting it into action. You just saw about 6 colors there, right? Oh, look at that, huh? This guy, it's like he's just out in the garden and, gonna clean the dal right there. Double use of the water. Look at that. You can't fool around. It's India. Water the plants with the water. Look at all the starch that's coming off the lentils. Chili, turmeric, and salt. Round eggplants. And you do need that giant pot. I know, right, Scott? Right, Todd? We need some different music. Hey, man, get involved. But great question. The male counterpart. The message bumped up here. Let me find it again. But I saw your question. Great point, Todd. Of course. where do things sit with the funding and meat is a oh, look how good that is. Oh, you got me. You had me at dried chilies. Oh, look at that, folks. That's heaven to me right there. That's it. That's it. Onions, chilies, and oil. You got me. No matter what it is, I'll take two. Yes, there's an economic thing, Todd, where first off, anyone in that situation, you usually eat whatever you're handed, right? It doesn't very hard to say no, just because, you know. Having said that, I know the music is. But why isn't there some really awesome Indian music? First of all, and just because it's local, it's right there. But yeah, Todd, the economics of flesh food is interesting. But you do see that less in India just because it's so expensive. And you know what else? Refrigeration. You know, and I talked to my dad about this a bunch when he lived there. My dad was vegetarian. He had a little fish once in a blue moon, but he was vegetarian the last 15 years of his life. Probably extended his life because he had some health issues before that. But we talked about in India, one of the things it's driven by is refrigeration. So you can keep those eggplants, carrots, all these things much longer, of course, right? At ambient kind of outdoor temperature. And that's the problem with meat. You've got hours to fool around, and all of a sudden you're fucked, right? It's which begs the question: what are we doing? The shit is toxic. You have to learn about biohazards to deal with meat. I love it. I love when I'm at someone's house and they're worrying about, did the lamb touch this part of the counter or that? Which chopping board was it? And then the husband says it was this, the wife says it was that, but now they're worried. Oh, I cut the other stuff on that. Please tell me it wasn't that board, because we have to worry about salmonella. You know, so when you're in a situation in the third world, they do eat meat, but of course they tend to, the kill and cook is within minutes, you know. So oh, look at that, sambar masala it's called. I like sambars. Yeah, look at that. Sambar is just a nice oily, spicy soup. Oh, might have to make some of that tonight. I've got all those ingredients. Coriander or cilantro, right? Cilantro. Wow, folks, that was a good one. Well, you got a little flavor there of the Indian grandma. I see someone kindly already put her link in there, but I'll add that one in case anyone wants that exact one. But yeah, she's really cool. Samin Nosrat is the woman doing the salt, fat, acid, heat. Love it. You know, I should try to get her on. But what a wonderful, inspiring thing. The other thing I wanted to remind folks as we close Veganuary, and hopefully you take it forward this month, where Veganuary tried to really encourage folks to look at it a little bit more. The YouTube is such a powerful tool for all kinds of stuff. But I've mentioned it before. Anything you're thinking of, especially those of you saying, you know what, I really want to add some vegan food. Just think of something and type it in. I've not stumped it yet, but you type in anything you want, and you know, and it just comes up, you know. I love it. I've learned so many cool little things just being on here, and you know, for instance, I love Thai food. So all right, that music's Slightly better. But let's take a look at that one, for instance. I'm doing this. Some of you are going, "Oh my God, this is so obvious," but you'd be surprised. So many times I'm helping people and I suggest something like this, and they go, "Oh my God, I never thought of that. I never thought of YouTube for that." So excuse me, those of you. I'm sorry, really, if this is like stunningly obvious to you, but I'm serious. I've talked to a number of people. I talk to about food all the time, as you can imagine, and I'm pleasantly surprised how many people go, "Oh my God, I never thought of that. Oh my God, just punch in vegan lentil soup." And so I just want to encourage people. Cookbooks, so 20th century, like vinyl. Why drag all that shit around? If you have a device, it's fucking 21st century. Just ask for something. So here's a vegan Thai curry. Let's look at this real quick. I love this page. I've seen this one a few times because they give the amount and it's well edited. They get right to, just like the Indian grandma, they edit quite a bit. Courgette is a zucchini. This is someone in English. And they call it aubergine. They call eggplant aubergine, which is French, of course, as is courgette. Todd, we need you to do the music on this one, bro. Thank you, Todd. Just honest words. I hear you, Todd. Right. He's probably growing those chickens. Yeah. And keeping them around for the eggs. Look at that coconut milk. And now, folks, if you cook with yogurt and cream, don't forget, coconut milk really does the trick in most cases that you would use cream. It's a great fat profile. It's a very healthy fat. Rich Gregory, I have not heard of the League of Kitchens. You're right, Todd. Just cooking at all, right? Is that what you mean? Just even getting people to cook is like a big deal. Exactly, Sharon. It's about the mouthfeel, and I do that all the time. By the way, I rinse the tin or the can. There's always stuff in your can, right? So just make sure you get that out of there. I do it with beans and especially coconut milk because there's always some stuck in there. Hey, man, sometimes it's a tablespoon worth of stuff. I think I need a pot like that. What is that? Like a ceramic? So good. Palm sugar. I've never cooked with that. I see it all the time though in recipes. Oh, nothing like broccoli that's simmering. Damn, that looks good. Fiber, vitamins, protein. Well, no protein per se yet. That she or he doesn't have any lentils or anything in there, but that's okay. Wow, now we're talking. I always forget those snap peas, right? They add such a oh. See, there's some crucial stuff in Thai food, folks. Those kaffir lime leaves and galangal is another one. Galangal, however you say it. Oh, look at that, right? And quite inexpensive. Once again, just some vegetables, a can or two of coconut milk, which you can get, if you go to an Asian store, I see them for 99 cents. The Whole Foods organic coconut milk, $1.59, $1.79. The cool thing on those is it's often really easy to trace it back to a fair trade sort of situation. So look at that. That's awesome. So again, folks, just again, I'm amazed people don't do it as often, but just go and look for stuff for food. This is one of my favorites. I'm not going to play this
everyone.
one.
Welcome back to
but just so you know
Day
it
7.
exists. There is one of my favorite soups of all time, French onion. And I do this. I do a vegan French onion quite often. But it's doable. And that's one of the ones that people just cannot believe. But very doable. She's going to do it with the bread and the classic presentation of the melted cheese. And it's obviously vegan cheese. It's whatever. But my point is clear there. Just think of stuff and punch it in. Again, I'm only doing that because I have found, to my surprise, because we're so fascinated by this here. We use that a lot. Robin loves the Indian Grandma. We watch that on the big screen in fascination. And again, it's so touching at the end. There's different ones, and she's doing samosas and pakoras and dal, and she does some dairy. She does matar paneer for them, and kind of. So these kids have this incredible gourmet rotating menu. If you look at it enough, and she's played dozens of them. I've seen a lot of them, and but what a beautiful situation to know that someone, that it's working for those who in need. Great. Back to Facebook then. Let's see what y'all are saying. Yeah, a lot of folks comment on that. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful kids. Um, I I post the grandpa, but he does me. Yeah, there you go. Um, let's see. Is there a grandpa really, or just but I'm sure there's lots of videos of yes, Indians cooking chicken and lamb and whatnot. Um, yes, right. I knew that. Right. They were just trying to seal that pot so that it would steam inside there and just cook the rice nicely. Yes, any of those kids could be curing disease, and there's a lot of engineers per capita coming out of India. A lot of software folks and aerospace folks and medical, absolutely. Um, yeah, a couple little positive things there. Um, Let me catch up. Just catching up on comments, folks. And I'm going till 5 today. That was my other announcement. I'm going to try to keep the show 2 hours, just to it focuses me a little bit better. I love just hanging with y'all. I would do it till 9 at night, but I figure it keeps it a little more interesting. But and I'll go more than 2 hours sometimes if we have some guests. But um, let's see. I've got some guests coming up in the next couple weeks. Let's see here. Um, ba, 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 da, da, da. Mm-hmm. So, how's everyone feeling? It's 1 week. We haven't even talked about this, but I veer over a little bit. I hate when there's an elephant in the room. How's everyone feeling? I mean, we had an inauguration just 5 days ago, right? Doesn't it feel like feels like forever, right? Once you turn off, yeah, it's like someone's burning your eyes with hot coals. Once they remove them, time just goes by. But does it feel like 5 days since Lady Gaga's wonderfully asymmetric rhythm national anthem? It really doesn't. But how about your thoughts on that as we close off? Um, um, Tell me how you feel. Uh, let's see. Just give me a second there for some comments. And I'll look back at some other comments. League of Kitchens, I don't know, but I love League of Gentlemen. Oh my God, you had me at League of. That's the Robert Fripp group, by the way, not the show. Sharon asking what books am I reading these days? I'm reading two or three. I'm reading Jesse Gress, the great Jesse Gress guitarist. His book on guitar pedagogy. It's a very unique way of teaching guitar. I'm reading his book and going through some his theory stuff. Fantastic. Um, I have a book by Bill Kopp about the early Pink Floyd, and I just got to wrap it up. I'm near the end, but it's so good. You ever have a book where you're just like, man, this is so good. I hope can it wrap around and. But it's a book by my dear friend Bill Kopp, who's a local journalist, and he's got this book. I love Pink Floyd, but I'm weird. I like all the Pink Floyd, love it, but I really love the early years of Pink Floyd. Um, just the experimental stuff and the kind of weirdo stuff. Of course, yeah, I like the weirdo stuff. That's a shock to some of you. Um, but I really like that, and it's a great look at that time period. I'll put a link in there, and I have a book coming up that I have a pile of books next to the bed. I'm also reading a Max Webster biography. That's a little obscure. That's a legendary cult Canadian band. Um, my pile of books also includes Pete Townshend's autobiography. That's in the pile. And so that's kind of what I'm currently reading and what's coming up. And then I've got one more in the coming up pile. Looking forward to this one because this is, I don't know, some of you might think this is pretty dark. This is one called The Myth of Human Superiority. Wow. Pretty heavy, right? I'll put the link in there. The Myth of Human Superiority. Because we do, right? We think we're we think you're the shit. We think we're going to survive everything, and we can conquer the planet, and we can terraform, and we can, nothing beats us. Um, maybe not. So that's some of the books I've got in my life. Yeah, Max Webster, you know about them because of Rush. Yeah, well, there's a guy named Martin. I'm spacing on his name. Uh, anyway, there's a book on them, and not many people know about them. They're pretty incredible, though, and kind of timeless. Martin Popoff. That's the writer. I love him. He's a very prodigious writer. Is that the right word? Prodigious? Prolific. That's the word. Sorry. I get mixed up sometimes on the big words. I knew it was one of those big words, but very prolific writer. He writes about all this rock and roll. Martin Popoff, great book on Voivod. You know, great book on Blue Oyster Cult, on Deep Purple, all these different groups. So, so Jesse is tragically fighting lung cancer right now. I know um, he's got a GoFundMe, but you can buy one of his books, or you can go to his GoFundMe. But he's got a book called The Guitar Cookbook that is quite incredible. I should see how Jesse's doing. Maybe get him on to talk about how he is, and let's get that boy some support. One more link there. Since we're talking about books, why not? Kim Gordon's Girl in a Band. I just said to Robin, we need to get Kim's book. Now, we are big Kim Gordon fans around here. Huge. And we just, a couple days ago, we're watching a few videos. There's a song, Rena. Do you know that song? We were watching the video for Rena, which is just fucking great. And watching them on Letterman, which has been several times. What's it? Sacred Trickster, is that the song? Wow, that's a great one on Letterman. But we just watched the sad, because what a sad story. Fucking Thurston Moore, right? He screwed that up so bad. Fuck you, Thurston. He wrecked one of the greatest. Well, he wrecked her, first of all. So, pox on his house. He wrecked our dear Kim Gordon. Cheated on her with his publisher or something like that. So, just a terrible story. Painful story. But besides their personal tragedy, it wrecked one of the greatest fucking bands of all time. But if you haven't seen this, Sonic Youth fans, they did their last show in Brazil. I think it's 2011, and you can see it. And it's Teenage Riot is the last song they ever did, ever. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of poignant. It's a great 10-minute version. But you're watching it knowing that she knows she will never be on that stage again. And they know it. And it's just like, it's really painful watching this 30-year arc of one of my favorite bands, one of the most creative bands. I only saw them once. But, of course, noise is part of my DNA. But what I love about Sonic Youth is it's inside a song. So it kind of, it's great. Anyway, little music segue there. Sorry if I'm boring some people, but I'll go with whatever y'all throw at me, It's a talk show at the end of the day with with a basic focus. Going back, cauliflower roasted. Yeah, it's so good, right? It's the reason to be alive. You're right. And I love how you can marinate cauliflower and it really soaks up. It just gets so good when it's roasted, though. Yeah. I also love that imagine being a cauliflower farmer like 5 years ago and you just kind of said, you say, yeah, man, we're gonna have to quit soon. This is not right now. You're just sitting there going like, holy shit, we can't keep up. But I love that cauliflower is blown up. Trends are not a bad thing. It's what the trend is what we got to look at. So, but I love that cauliflower is trendy because highly sustainable crop, incredible. We know the health benefits of it, and cruciferous vegetables. How many articles have you read urging you to eat more cruciferous vegetables? So now it's showing up everywhere. There's the riced cauliflower that it's chopped up like rice. There is the all the pizza crusts and chips and things like that. It's great, but those are all packaged foods, and as we always say, the fact that you can just go get a cauliflower and do wonderful things with it, that's something you can get into your menus, your arsenal now, and it's super to see that happening. So I agree. Sugar snap peas, yeah, they are like candy. So Sharon, exactly. So this is what I'm here for, though. I'm here to break narratives. I'm here to break and smash our 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 pre-learned stuff. I'm doing it all the time myself. I try to. I hope to, and I have. Just breaking shit you learned. Yes, we're always taught that French onion soup has to have beef stock. No, it's just chemistry. It's amino acids. It's umami. And one of the things I always say, I'm going to do a show on just this stuff, the philosophical stuff. But we got to understand chemically and energetically and kind of on a bunch of levels, existentially, everything's the sun, really. If we keep going back, the sun is driving plant life on our planet, which is what we really are living on, because at the bottom of the chain is plant life. Even a predator like a lion or a hyena or a wolf that's eating a rabbit or a deer or some ungulate, which is then eating plants, which is coming from the sun. So that's pretty obvious stuff. I hope I didn't bore someone there. But even a cow that you would take the beef and cook it down and use the fat and whatever is in French onion soup, there's nothing in that cow that's not made from the grass. And once you start going to the chemistry of it, the magnesium that's in that grass and the various levels of, whatever element that you want to talk about that really makes up the chemical essence of what we're tasting, you'd be surprised how much you can work your way back. That's why dark green leafy vegetables are pretty interesting. When you're steaming kale, and you use kale a lot, there's an earthy, dare I say, meaty quality sometimes to the stock that you can make from deep dark leafy greens. And that heavy chlorophyll, that heavy mineral base, that stuff that's bound up in there. Once you add in something like mushrooms, you get a whole other profile. So if we really start thinking about this, the things we love about animals, taste and the flesh, so much of it can come about with really clever exploration of plant foods, because that's where they're getting it. Anyone that's shaking their head going, no way, man, this is okay. There are animals that they feed various marigold petals or different things to make them have a certain flavor, to make them have a certain flavor profile later on in their death. So there's a lot to think about there. All to say, super easy to make you a French onion soup that would blow you away. And now there's really great people have done the work on this, and there's really great stock powders that are actually vegan. I got some the other day. Which one did I get? Here it is. Better than Bully. I think this is the one I got. I'll put a link just so you know about it. But I've seen it in supermarkets. It's very simple and it's natural, and just salt and herbs and things like that. But this stuff right here is great if you're gonna do like a beef kind of a flavor. What's in it? Vegetables: carrots, celery, onions, hydrolyzed soy protein, corn syrup solids. That's not my favorite, but it's like the fifth ingredient. Cane sugar, yeast, canola oil, natural flavors, maltodextrin, caramel color. Pretty simple stuff, and kind of just gives you a flavor profile. So I'll probably use that when I do this next French onion. It's the first time I got it, and I used it the other day in a Japanese udon sort of a dish, because for that umami, for a lot of Japanese food, you need kind of for a particular thing, you need a little taste profile that you can get there. So Rich will drive for some final. Yeah, you better hurry up. I sold a ton to a collector in Rochester who was visiting his daughter, and sold a bunch. Yeah. So all right. So we went over books there. I'm gonna wrap this up in just a couple minutes. And why? Thank you, Rich Gregory. Thanks for the reminder. I will put my Venmo there, which is my preference these days. Thanks so much. Yeah, I do this for free, but I'm never going to charge for this. No paywalls here. But yeah, if you want to throw me a little bit, this is part of my job now. I'm going to plug a few other things because I'm inventing a new career. Touring is gone. I really don't see when it's coming back. I'm doing a lot of interviews, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to close with that, and I'll promote my upcoming thing. But let me make sure I get to all your comments and questions. Okay. Yeah, we bake kale all the time. Absolutely. Chlorophyll. Also interesting. Is the relationship between, did you know this? Hemoglobin and chlorophyll have some similar structures. Did you know that? It's very interesting. So one of our key elements of our blood, the hemoglobin, and any of you that remember high school or even college biology, both of which I have had and passed, and I had a lot of college science, but I just never got my bachelor's degree. I have an associate's degree in computer science, and I was going to be an engineer. So I did a lot of mathematics, like all the way up to calculus 3 and university physics and biology and chemistry. So I'm not a scientist, but I'm scientist adjacent because the scientific method is very important to me, and it's this year has tested us, right? Jesus Christ, this year has really tested our respect for science, but also for food and nutrition. I have barely gotten into this on this show, but once you start getting into the human body and our lack of fangs and claws, quite seriously. And someone's going to say, I can tear apart. Well, could you really? Could I put you in the woods with no tools and you could hunt animals and win the battle against them and live on that? Pretty hard to do. Of course, humans evolved and created tools. We trapped animals. We started netting them, spears, arrows, later on guns, bullets. All manner of traps that we still use. So we have brains, and we've outsmarted animals, and we capture them, and then we started raising them. Now they're in factories with robots, basically controlling and murdering them. But not very natural physically to us. Don't have fangs, don't have claws. Our saliva, digestive, stomach pH is all the way close to what a very, very high pH or higher, more alkaline, we're closer to clearly plant-eating animals like cows, actually, and pigs, and a lot of primates. Primates are right on that borderline where they do eat birds and other monkeys sometimes and lizards and things. But vast majority of a gorilla's diet is plant-based. And chimpanzees, fruit, all these things. So once you start getting into that stuff, the physiological stuff, not to mention blood pH and the design of our intestinal tract. We have this super long intestinal tract that's longer than our bodies. It's puckered. It's there to move fibrous material around. And guess what gets stuck in it very easily? Exactly. Animal fat, dairy fat, all these things. That's why we've got epidemic amounts of people with blockage and getting intestinal, getting parts removed because they rotted away, all this stuff. We're just not designed for and there's plant-based food that fucks you up in your intestines too. White flour, white sugar, all these things. Just generally modern processed food is not what we're designed for. But if you really go down the road on a whole lot of attributes, how our eyes are set in our heads versus actual predatory carnivore animals, there's a couple dozen things you can at least think about. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm not telling you to go vegetarian because your eyes are on the front of your head. Not at all. I'm just saying if we could just sit and ponder some of this stuff and see where we really sit in nature, because it ain't the way we're doing it. This isn't working. So there's some stuff to think through. All that to introduce this idea, if you've never heard of it, is that I'm going to put the link. Hemoglobin and chlorophyll are wonderfully symmetric and have almost, I was just talking about high school biology to say that if you remember that stuff, you remember drawing simple, chemical compound diagrams, right? You remember H2O. You would draw the little H and you'd put a little line, right, to the O and the other one to the O. And you really learned that there's geometry involved, right? You learned that these elements are held together basically by magnetic force, by attractive force. It's not exactly magnetism, but electromagnetic force. And these ions, these protons, these atomic level particles work together in an interesting way. And we have chemical compounds, right? You have elements and then compounds, right? Water is a compound made up of two elements. One H and two O's. Is that how it goes? H2O. I got that. I flipped that around. But yeah, you draw these things and they make a little diagram, right? So interesting thing with hemoglobin and chlorophyll is I'll copy this and put it in the chat for you. Look at that. Just interesting to read if you care about this, but hemoglobin and chlorophyll are almost the same structure, with a difference in the center of the diagram. There's magnesium in plants and iron in humans, and otherwise, identical. Just which, again, you might shrug, but that doesn't happen that often in nature when it's some things that are almost so closely related in terms of when these compounds meet in the human body, or one is transformed into the other. Just interesting. So what's the point? I think it kind of reinforces that chlorophyll is really good for us. And duh, who hasn't felt better after a nice green salad, right? I don't know. That's certainly part of it. But Rich Gregory, I agree, right? You're a science guy. Go down that rabbit hole. I'm not making this shit up. Go take a look. Am I saying that no one can eat meat and be healthy? No, I'm not saying that. Am I saying that people don't get iron and calcium and protein from meat? I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying. I'm saying here are ways to reinforce plant-based situation. Yes, math skills definitely helps. Uh, Thank you so much, folks, for any donations there. I appreciate that, and you're very kind. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up just with circling back to what I brought up, which is the national anthem. Right? How wild! I think someone said 5-4 and 4-4. I thought it was 3-4 and 4-4, but okay, that works for me. You're right, Sharon. The adults are finally in charge. Look, we could go all day on every administration is going to have imperfections and problems, but you said it. To just have adults, to just not, I'm up late sometimes, and sometimes at 4 in the morning now for 5 days, to not have the temptation to check my phone to see what fucked up rage tweet storm just came out of the White House at 3:30 in the morning. I it's mind blowing to me. Like I can't even, right? Like at 3:30 in the morning, it's good to know my president's asleep. That's not partisan. What I love is there's some Republican that's going, you're divisive. That's divisive. Why can't we get together? It's so political anymore. Wow. Fuck you very much. No, you people who defended this, that's not political. Our president's asleep at 3:30. Fact. We all should celebrate that. We all should say, yeah, man, he should be sleeping. He or she, right now it's he, should be sleeping and not going in all caps, throw him out, lock her up, dot, 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 dot. The president of Nigeria is a jerk. The president, they'll be hearing from me. Who? What? So I'll be there to criticize Joe Biden when he does fucked up shit. You know I will. Unlike you Republicans, any of you watching, I'm unlike you because you didn't criticize your guy ever. It's hero worship. It's a cult. But I'll criticize Biden when he fucks up. Oh, you know I will. Anyone who knows me, you know I will. And then I'll have the liberals mad at me. But that's the difference. And that gives us the stability to be able to say, we know he's not tweeting at 3:30. And we know he's going to get up at 9 and actually fucking read the briefings. Wow. He's going to read the briefings. How staggering of a reality is that? And Jen Psaki, is that your name? Say her name? Jen Psaki, is that her name? Wow, she is so great. The press secretary will come out and just answer questions. And if she does know the answer, she'll politely say, yeah, I'll get back to you. And she actually will. So, hey, 5 days in, I'm with y'all. I'm going to stay critical. I'm going to stay, looking at, all the different things. Yeah, Fauci can speak his mind again. I saw the interview with Fauci yesterday. Wow. And it's great because Fauci and Birx, to a lesser degree, her interview was great, right? She did a long interview on CBS. For both of them, I applaud their professionalism because they kept it, unlike me, they're not going to scream some shit. They kept it very pro. They kind of said, because they pressed him, they said, what were you thinking? That kind of thing. And Fauci went a little further. He was like, yeah, I'm pretty overjoyed now that I can talk about the science and I'm not correcting stuff. That was one of his quotes. He felt like, yeah, I was just correcting stuff all the time. I would step up and say, that wasn't true. Here's some numbers. And it looks like he's, very happy. No more tweets. Yeah, and Joe can tweet. That's fine. It's about no more rage tweets at 3 in the morning, and you know, no more retweeting white supremacists. No more. You know, and yes, Joe worked with Robert Byrd, who was a white supremacist and a KKK guy, but spent decades working towards redemption of that. That's the difference, because the Fox people like to bring that up as if, yeah, Joe's got a lot of flaws. Joe has said a lot of fucked up shit. Joe drafted the '94 crime bill that's locked up tens of thousands of black men inappropriately. So he's got a lot to walk back, but he's doing it, and he's doing it in part with his incredibly diverse team of people, and so we're on the road. John Goober says, love Jen Psaki. Yes, she's amazing. Smart, redhead, experienced, been in 4 different press situations, right? She was under Obama, right? And then also State Department, I think she was a a resume experience. God. To be fair, I think Sarah Huckabee Sanders had experience in that realm too. I mean, she just was kind of biased, but she's running for governor now. But yeah. Let's see. Okay. Just pulling up any last minute questions here that are on YouTube or the other one. I need to pull these all together. Yeah, Jen Psaki though. Yeah, and I have this on this other page. Right, she was a spokesperson for the State Department, right? Department of State, is that the same thing? 2013 to 15. White House Communications Director, 15 to 17. White House Deputy Communications Director, 2009 to 11. And then White House Deputy Press Secretary in 2009. So experience in the field, and it feels like it. Yeah, Rich. Good people on both sides. That's very good. Well, all right, folks. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for hanging around with me today. It is just a joy to spend a couple hours with you talking about this. I'm going to wrap with some plugs. This Friday night, as you know, I'm part of the Make Weird Music team, and we've got you're on my social media. If you're not, please join my social media at Guitar Tour. And I need to, where is that? I need to just put that up on the screen. But at Guitar Tour is all of my, I put it there actually, my Twitter and things like that, being Twitch and Twitter and Instagram. I'm Guitar Tour. So check me out there, and I'm doing a couple interviews this week. One of them is Friday night with 2 dear friends of mine, the incredible Julie Slick, who you might have seen on this show. She was her and her brother Eric, both vegetarian, did my show back in November or something like that. So Julie Slick is an amazing bass player, an amazing talent, and a composer, and just an entrepreneur for the 21st century. She does it all. And here's my my socials. I just put them in there. So Friday night is Julie Slick, and if you join my socials, I'll let you know there. I promise I won't spam you, and I'm trying to keep that more and more to just music. and just a drop of politics, mostly music. But so Friday night, Julie Slick and Beth Fleenor. Beth Fleenor is wow, just this amazing um, oboe player. She is a composer. She does modern classical music. She does this really intense, almost therapeutic vocal stuff with loops and stuff. And I'll put the link for the actual stream right here. But Beth is another incredibly creative. Uh, um, yes, that is my YouTube, Rich. But this thing is on the Make Noise YouTube, Make Weird Music YouTube. Sharon asks, was he a vegetarian? Who are we talking about? That's the troubling thing in comments that it just kind of moves around out of context. Sharon, I don't know who you mean by he, so just tell me exactly. Was he a vegetarian? I don't know. Anyway, Friday night, Beth Fleenor, Julie Slick. Saturday night, a lot of you know because it's here on my Facebook. Wow, am I excited? You know, I'm excited about both of these, but this one goes back to my childhood. Alex Lifeson from Rush. That'll be Saturday night. Friday night at 6. Saturday night at 6. Easy, Eastern time. What can I say, folks? Going to be talking to one of my absolute musical heroes. I'm going to come on and do a live kind of preview of this in a couple of days. But simply one of the more inventive guitarists, one of the more creative and evolving. You know, whether or not you're a Rush fan, when you listen to Rush early on, and the kind of Jimmy Page, Les Paul into a Marshall or a Hiwatt, just that amazing sound. Great, early Rush is amazing, but then right away he started experimenting with other guitars, other tones, and then integrating a classical guitar, acoustic guitar. Big fan of Steve Howe, my boss, and we'll get into that a little bit. But Alex Lifeson really evolved and changed. A lot of guitarists they picked a spot and that's fine. I love Angus Young, but he kind of picked a lane and he's never right. Everything Angus Young has ever done has been that SG and that Marshall. Fucking beautiful. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't question it. But this gentleman took another path, which has been amazing to watch, changing and growing through the years, adding new techniques, which a lot of people don't do. You listen to the Alex Lifeson of 1976 versus even 73, and there's a whole other layer. You listen to him 3 years later. Wow, who is this guy? And then he makes a sharp turn in the 80s and goes into a real textural, almost Andy Summers influenced kind of a thing. A little bit like The Edge and U2, a lot of echoes and stuff. Then he veers another way in the late 80s. And so I'm going to get into that a little bit, but I'm mainly going to talk about the 25th anniversary of his great solo record, his only one so far, called Victor, and a few other topics. So Saturday night. So Saturday night, Alex. Friday night, two incredible young composers, musicians. They've worked together, Beth and Julie, and we're going to talk about what they're doing now, how they're facing coronavirus, and the kinds of creative shit that they're coming up with. So please join me for that, and I'm gonna go out with a little Beth Fleenor because she's so badass, and I will just end with this video. See you next week, folks. Thank you. See you next week, folks. And yes, it's going to be live on Facebook. Live on YouTube. Rich Gregory.
Also known as Crystal Beth.